You know, considering this one's geared more towards younger audiences, it really makes The Addams Family a family movie. What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to my channel and another installment in my Addams Family review series, where I talk through all the Addams Family movies, both live action and animated, in the lead up to the second animated film, Addams Family 2. And today we're talking about the first animated film, simply called The Addams Family. Before we begin, let me know in the comments what your thoughts on this movie were, if you already saw it or if you were planning on seeing it, and make sure to hit that thumbs up button if you like these reviews, as it helps me out immensely by getting my channel out there. And if you're new here, I hope you consider hitting that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with more movie related content like reviews and rankings on a near daily basis. But let's jump right into it and let's talk about The Addams Family. This focuses once again on the eccentric macabre family, who moves to a bland suburb where Wednesday Addams' friendship with the daughter of a hostile and conformist local reality show host exacerbates conflict between the families. This is written by Matt Lieberman, who wrote the Christmas Chronicles movies and also recently wrote Free Guy, and it's co-directed by Conrad Vernon and Greg Tiernan, whose previous film was Sausage Party. Yep. The duo behind Sausage Party went on to make an Addams Family movie, a kid-friendly version at that. Like the direct-to-video film Addams Family Reunion, this is a more family-oriented take on the characters. And like I said previously, I don't think that is really the best route to go down with them. Not that it can't be done, as I do remember the animated show from the 90s being a pretty fun take on them, but in general, taking characters known for their dark humor and giving them a kid-friendly spin feels like it limits them. These are characters that have a gothic edge to them and will push the boundaries as far as how they treat themselves and each other. They love each other, but they also get a kick out of putting one another in traps and coming close to seriously harming each other, and so on. Now, here we do see a little bit of that shine through. I'd say this tries dabbling in some of that humor at times, like whenever we see Wednesday and Pugsley have a normal day, or whenever we see what Fester's up to. And it especially comes out in one particular subplot where Wednesday, voiced by Chloe Grace Moretz, is sent to school and has to socialize with more average students. And she freaks them out with things like bugs and slime and all that when they try messing with her. It's a more sanitized version of what we saw in Addams Family Values, where Wednesday is sent to summer camp, though I liked how this winds up not necessarily being a rehash of that classic moment from that film, and it flips the situation on its head a bit. As Wednesday spends more time with their new friend Parker, voiced by Elsie Fisher, they find themselves in a role reversal, where Parker starts to dress more gothic, while Wednesday dresses more normal, which freaks out Morticia, and is a rare time in really any of these Addams Family movies, animated or live action, where we see her really unnerved, so that was nice. And I appreciate that it still maintains a dark visual aesthetic when we see the family in their element. While I wouldn't call this intense by any stretch of the imagination, the scenes inside the house are meant to give off the gothic vibe that the Addams themselves live for. It's filled with all your usual stuff like the organ, cobwebs, a large variety of sharp objects. It feels like a haunted house. So it definitely tries maintaining the spirit of what makes the Addams Family charming characters. And I also like the voice cast all around. Oscar Isaac and Charlize Theron take on the voices of Gomez and Morticia, and I gotta say, that's actually perfect casting right there. Not only do they have fantastic chemistry with one another, but they channel the energy of what makes these characters work as well as they do. In fact, I know there's going to be a live action series featuring the characters and it's already cast, but if they were to ever do another live action movie in the near future, both Isaac and Theron would do really well there. Another highlight was also Nick Kroll as Uncle Fester, who definitely plays him more like a madman with a voice that some might see as obnoxious, but his delivery combined with the irreverent humor of the scenarios would get some of the film's biggest laughs out of me, like when he hears live music in the park early on in one scene and decides to join in on the fun. But while the cast was solid and I liked the aesthetic, this just didn't quite do it for me. I've said it before, but I feel the Addams Family's at their best when we get a movie that allows them to really show off their loving family dynamic, and that's simply not on display here after a while. I'm not saying this movie's cold and heartless, but the subplots are all very generic and sometimes shallow for a family that prides themselves on being unique. For one thing, while the Wednesday stuff starts off fine, her time with Parker does also cause a rift between her and Morticia, and it causes Wednesday to eventually run away. On top of that, Parker's mom, voiced by Allison Janney, is a big reality TV host who wants to get rid of the Addams as their love of all things looks dark and eerie doesn't match with the vibe of the rest of the community, and it would be bad for her ratings. So we have a whole subplot of her trying to turn the town on the Addams while they're having fights of their own. And then there's this other subplot with Pugsley, voiced by Finn Wolfhard, who's training for this ceremony called the Mazurka, which is a big rite of passage for any member of the family. But it's something that feels like kind of an afterthought, especially since we don't circle back to it too much until the last act. And before that, it's just talked about, though it has little relevance to the plot otherwise. I guess it was just a way of trying to give Pugsley his own emotionally compelling arc for the sake of it. Now, I will say, at the heart of all these subplots is a message about acceptance and being yourself that I think at least younger audiences may appreciate. But at the same time, it comes off so heavy-handed and it's done in such a generic way that it may not resonate the way the filmmakers hoped. Now, I think you can tell a great Addams Family movie with that message clearly in there. I just don't think you need to resort to such cliche storytelling methods to get that point across. Given the nature of these characters and their infatuation with the weird and wild, there should be a more unique way to get that across so that you can have both this message and you can stay true to the characters. I don't think you need all these subplots where you're tearing the family apart just for the sake of sprucing up some conflict. It feels unnecessary in a way. The Addams Family didn't quite come together for me. While it does nicely recreate the aesthetics of what makes the characters interesting, it has a nice message, and it's boosted by the talents of a great voice cast, it still plays things a bit too safe at times, while also containing a number of subplots that feel like they've been done so many times before. This certainly isn't the worst outing of the Addams Family, but it's far from the best. The Addams Family gets a 5 out of 10. So stay tuned, as up next will be my review of the newest release, The Addams Family 2, followed by a ranking of all 5 movies. But in the meantime, let me know, did you see The Addams Family, or are you planning to see it, and what were your thoughts? Did you find this funny at all? Are you looking forward to the sequel? Let me know in the comments below so we can discuss. Also, if you enjoyed this video, please like it and share it, and for more movie reviews and film discussion, please make sure to hit that subscribe button to stay updated. Thanks for watching everyone, and keep having fun with film.